Hey, I heard a funny one the other day. I just wanted to share it with everybody. Is it possible to teach woodworking to a class of students who don't have machinery, tools, or wood? It's a good one. Is it possible to have a back to school night and we're not back in school? Well, to tell you the truth, this is no joke. It is no laughing matter. It is a sign of our times and certainly something that we all have to deal with in our personal lives, in our professional lives, in our social lives. I welcome you to a back to school night that I never thought was ever going to happen. This back to school night different, certainly because we're not back in school. But I will say optimistically, there will be a time, I don't know when it's going to happen, if it's going to be the end of November, the beginning of January, the beginning of March. I truly believe that we will all be back in school one day. So I welcome you to a back to school night that is certainly different. What I want to do today is to kind of talk to you about the course, what's going on virtually, what will go on physically in this building, and to welcome all my students in, because I'll tell you one thing, it's been a tough spring into summer. And when I see those faces on that computer screen, it really does warm my heart. First thing I want to do is talk to you about the objective of why we're all here. Woodworking, to me, has really spun off, especially now with the COVID situation where you have so many people improving their homes. Woodworking knowledge, the skills to fix something, the skills to build something, to me, are precious skills that will never, ever leave our society. As a matter of fact, it's getting to be almost doctoral in terms of its skill. My objective in here is to get students involved in woodworking, have a knowledge of woodworking, be able to increase their knowledge if they had a class the year before that. Also a situation where it's an introductory thing to first-year students. If you are a first-year student, and I have many throughout all of my 6 classes, if you are a first-year student, what we're going to do, and we have done it the past few days, is what I have on the board. And if you're a second, third, or fourth-year student, you're doing the same thing. A quick refresher on how to read a standard English ruler. After we go with the standard English ruler, the next thing that we're going to transition to is taking that knowledge of how to read a standard English ruler, applying it to boards. We'll start to measure boards out. After we measure things out, then what we'll do is we'll investigate bill of materials of different projects that we could make. All of those projects have one thing in common. They all have a bill of materials, and on that bill of materials, there are 3 numbers that are always listed. Number 1 is the thickness, number 2 is the width, number 3 is the length. If you can't read our standard English ruler, then that bill of materials that tells you every piece part that makes up that project will be worthless to you. We're going to start from ground zero. The best part, and I try to tell my students this through virtual, is that when we do this, we would really be doing the same thing had they been in this school. They would be sitting in front of me, listening to my little speech on the chalkboard for probably, I'm going to say for many of them, 2 to 3 weeks, some of them 3 to 4 weeks. The quicker they understand this information, the quicker we could transition and move on to other more, I'm going to say advanced things. We do advance in here. Our objective is the appreciation of woodworking, whether it's the skill level at 1, 2, or 3, or 4 years. And I will say to you that many of my students have gone into business on their own, have had successful businesses. I can count 5 or 6 of them easy, and I'm sure you know one very, very well. The second thing I want to talk about is the subject matter. If we are talking about introductory things in woodworking, what can I expect my student to be able to make? If they're a first-year student and I've had this project probably for the last, maybe 16, 17 years, maybe even more, This project right here is excellent. It is our standard footstool. That's a first-year student's project. We get some other projects. If your student is a 2, 3, or 4, what I ask them to do this year is to build a frame. Everybody looks at that simple frame. Well, there's so much computation to this frame that it becomes a very involved project. So they could make a picture frame, and you go, what's the big deal with that? I could take this picture frame, put a mirror in it, and then all of a sudden I have a wall mirror. I could take, if I am a senior, my senior picture. I can mat it, and we mat things in here all the time. I will be doing that with a lesson that's upcoming. But I could mat the picture, put it in the frame, glaze it, put a piece of glass on it, and I do have access to glass. And you could have a framed senior picture of you. The other thing you can do is you can take a family picture. I can take a family photo, bring it in here. All we need to do is to have it for that one day, take a measurement, cut the mat on it, put it in the frame, glass it, finish the frame, and you'll have a great family picture. If you have action photos, there's really nothing other than your imagination that holds you back to whatever it is you want to frame. How about this? I have a mirror that I could frame, but the mirror can attach itself to a cabinet. Yes, indeed. I can make a bathroom cabinet. I can make a wall cabinet. The problem that I have with most people is people do not want to think and investigate possibilities. And that's what I like. There are tons of plans out there, projects for frames, an application for a frame. It's just your imagination. Once this footstool has been completed, once a frame has been completed, I will give the student my blessing and have them move on to another project. If they are a first-year student, chances are they're probably going to advance to a short table in which a project that they are suggested to make can be changed, can be morphed. It could be made taller, it could be made shorter, it could be made wider, it could be made longer. If you are a 2, 3, or 4-year project student, and chances are you were in this class before, if you remember, March was not a good time because many people were left in the air with projects that were incomplete. So what I'd like you to do is to finish any project that you were working on or to come up with your new project. Where do I get ideas for those? We have tons of magazines. We have magazines like Wood Magazine, the Woodworker's Journal magazine. You could go online, but of course, so many of my students say to me, I can't find anything. Our goal is to find a project that you want to make, or your parents want to make, or your friends want to make, or your aunt wants to make, and make it. But those plans have to be approved by me first. So that is the subject matter of this class. Moving on, the grading policy is very simple, and I'm going to keep it the same exact way as I had it before. On my syllabus, which everyone will receive it, the syllabus says to you that 70% of your grade is class participation. How do I have class participation if I have not participated in school? Are you online? Are you online on time? If I give you an assignment, and it's usually a quick hitter, if it's a quick, just let me see if I understand what's going on, 1 or 2 questions, is that done? 30% of your grade will revolve around whether you do well on tests and quizzes. So we will have a quiz for the standard English ruler, fractional halves, things like that. In addition to that, those grades are put together and you get a grade for every marking period. Hopefully, the last marking period is going to be different because it will include your participation in the art show. The students' participation in the art show is critical, which means whatever project they make, they're going to take it and put it on display in the cafeteria at the end of the school year. And we're hoping that that does actually happen, unlike virtually last year where it happened via pictures. Everyone is expected to go on the Classroom Meet link, and everybody has been doing that very well. And if you need to contact me, the old address is the new address and the same address at Shimko at DunellenSchools.org. And I will certainly include you. You should be involved in Classroom as well. If you want to see one of these lessons, please feel free to do it. But you can contact me anytime. And as I usually suggest, email is the best time. So as Jerry Seinfeld would say, this class is no joking matter. But what we're going to do is make sure that we have a good time while we're here. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. We will progress as we go on Google Meet and progress through all the computative things. We'll have lessons on machinery so that when your student comes back to this shop, and I mention about the adjusting knob on the table saw, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Our job, my job, I feel, is to prepare them as much as I possibly can so that when they walk in here, yes, we will go over things again, but it's not going to be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's try to get all the groundwork done, lay the groundwork, the foundation, so that when students come back, we can kind of pick right up. I hope you have a great school year. I hope your students have a great school year. And as I said before, we'll get through this together. Have a great day, and I hope to see you soon.